Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What week? Can you put that cat down?
Yeah. The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know. I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
That's what the Canadians say. No bueno.
No bueno.
If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno.
And we are back. This is the Rutten River Pursuits podcast, and you are in the current. This is Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you into the outdoors by connecting you to the skills, people, and products that you can trust.
You can trust them.
Yeah, you can.
Like I said, my name is Brian, and who do we have here with me tonight?
I'm Will.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
This is Dave.
I'm Steve.
How you doing, fellas?
Good, buddy.
Good.
That was smooth.
That was smooth.
Hey, Bucky, why don't you tell us a little bit about this month's sponsor?
This month's episodes are brought to you in part by Scared Fishless Tackle Company. You'll find everything you need to be successful on the water there. These soft plastics are rugged. Will caught multiple fish on the same 6-inch diamondback worm during our most recent pike and bass trip to New York.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, he did.
He
Slaying them.
Need a custom color or bait made? Hey guys, they do that too.
Noise.
Check them out at scaredfishless.com.
Scared Fishless.
Or on Instagram and the Facebooks at Scared Fishless.
Scared Fishless.
And it's nice to be back with you guys.
Yeah, it is.
You know it.
How you guys been doing? What's going on with you guys?
Growing my
Anything
hair
much?
out.
Growing your hair
Are
out.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
I see that.
A little bit.
Look,
Yeah.
Trying to.
Little
It's-
Kentucky waterfall.
It's crazy
What's
because
that?
your hockey hair is starting to turn on and the season's about over.
Yeah, it'll be good for next year then.
Are you going to Canada? Got a head of hockey hair?
Yeah.
What'd you say, Kentucky waterfall?
I know what that means.
What's that mean?
It refers to a blonde mullet, even though he has nothing of the sort. But it's fun to say a Kentucky waterfall.
That's another word for mullet?
A blonde-haired mullet.
I don't know. Okay.
Whatever you're into, bud.
Continue.
So I just got back from the beach.
That's
What beach is that?
a trip I want to hear
I
a
was-
lot about.
There's not much to tell, to be honest with you.
That's not true.
It was hot.
I plan on you filibustering this entire
was-
episode.
Hot.
Where you at,
How
Stevie?
hot
was
was
in-
it?
I was in North Carolina for a few days and in Myrtle Beach for a week after that. And
You double vacationed?
yeah,
Oh,
we don't
nice.
Back to
do
back.
much except vacation.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
we don't
that's
do
what
much,
we do.
but we go away for vacation.
Yeah, we vacation pretty
Hard,
intensely in
yeah.
the summer. But yeah, so it was at Myrtle Beach. Most of the days we were reading 100 plus in the thermometer in the car, and it was wall to wall sunshine. Hardly a cloud in the sky. So it was hot, and I got I don't normally wear short pants.
You got no pictures from it. That's for sure.
No, my wife took a bunch, but that's neither here nor there.
Gotcha.
Certainly not here.
No. The
It was mostly down there.
it's mostly there. It was. I don't wear short pants very much, except on vacation.
Short britches.
Short britches, yeah. And when we wet wade, and I the second day there, I got sun poisoning on my leg or something like that. It looked really weird, but no, it was a great family vacation. The fishing was terrible. It was awful.
Really?
Terrible.
Now,
terrible.
Were you surf fishing? Were you on the piers?
Yes.
Both.
Yes. And
Were you kayak fishing?
No.
Were you deep sea fishing?
No.
Okay, I wanted
anyone-
you to say no a couple times.
Was anyone around you catching fish?
Well, we fished on the pier the one day. I took both
Was
my
there a
boys.
little girl there and you short drifted?
It's funny because
Because I did.
that same little girl
Are you kidding
from
me?
last year,
She's a mirage, dude. That's not real.
No. She was there with Papa again this year.
Is that what you
And
call
my
it?
son with her grandfather, and my one son was about her age. So they were talking
Were they
and
mixing it up?
yeah, she was
sharing trade
She was
secrets.
trying to she was short drifting us, except they were catching and we were.
Were they catching trout?
Yeah, they had
The
live
speckles.
shrimp. Yeah, they had live shrimp. We
you
didn't.
have
We
live-
didn't have live shrimp.
I
doesn't
even
make
got you
sense.
that cooler so you could have live
Yeah,
bait.
the bait shop Clem's where I get my live bait, they didn't have shrimp yet.
Why don't you
And,
talk to Grandpa and see where he got shrimp?
It didn't matter. The boys were after an hour and a half. My boys were ready to wrap it up. So
Because they weren't catching fish.
they did. We caught quite a few.
You guys should have
Not
worked on
trout.
an arranged marriage, and some of those shrimp could have been part of the dowry.
That's something I will have to consider next year. But we caught. Here's the best catch of the year was of the trip was the first fish we caught, which was a tank pompano. It was the biggest
was
pompano
big.
I've ever seen. I think it might have been a citation fish. I don't know. We didn't weigh it. They were in a hurry. We were in a hurry to get it back in the water. But other than that, it was just small stuff.
Those are pretty tasty,
Any
though.
burbot?
Yeah. No burbot, no eel pout, no. What was the one that Nick
That's-
Konashevsky caught?
That's what I was trying to get at. I just said burbot.
Bucky.
It wasn't an oyster
Burgal.
cracker. It was Burgal, yeah.
Bucky asked me if I caught any Burgal. No Burgal. But I don't know if it was because it was so hot or why. It didn't matter. But fished from the surf a couple times and just caught. My brother-in-law caught some dogfish. My boy caught a dogfish. So it was terrible.
They're still fun to catch.
It was something, but
I mean, they're still like what?
That's
It
what
was
they
probably like a
sound like
20-inch.
when you-
no,
Oh, they were really small.
tiny.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were tiny, but
But still,
it was a good family vacation.
So if the
good,
shrimp wasn't available yet, what were you throwing?
Frozen shrimp.
Frozen shrimp.
Yeah,
Like from the grocery store?
no, from the bait shop. And
no bloodworms.
I hate
No,
to
they didn't
do
have
this, but
bloodworms.
like, let's get to somebody who actually caught some fish from the shore.
I can talk about this about not catching them.
I know you can.
Well, how much more do you
I
want to
want to
hear?
cut you off here because
I'm going to slow roll this.
you're going to filibuster this whole thing if we let you.
About not catching fish.
Hold
It was
on,
the best
there's one-
trip. I didn't do anything.
Nothing.
Oh, thank you for wrapping that up. So, was there anyone in this group that caught some fish on the shore?
Doing something.
You seem to be eyeing somebody up pretty specifically there, Mr. Will.
The place that I was at didn't have any bloodworms either.
They didn't.
No, they didn't.
What happened?
It's a bloodworm die off.
Shortage. Yeah.
You know, there's artificial
get-
bloodworms, guys.
Did they get
no.
them from Missouri? Remember when we were in Florida? They were out of Missouri.
They were out of
Meadows?
Missouri Meadows. No, they come from New England.
You two, like Brian and Steve, did you ever use the artificial bloodworms?
The golf
I never
ones?
No,
have.
the fish bites.
Yeah.
They look like a
They're
ribbon.
strips.
Yeah, and you cut the ribbon, and then they
I-
work great for spot and croaker.
Yeah, I think you can get them at Joanne's Fabrics.
I'll keep that in mind
Yeah,
next time.
because when I'm at the beach, I swing right by Joanne Fabrics.
I knew it.
I've seen the gulp ones though.
Yeah.
They don't work.
I've caught panfish, saltwater panfish on the gulp ones and on the fish bites. But so where were you at, Brian?
I was down in Delaware.
Shut your mouth, Delaware.
Yeah, my wife and I went to our favorite camping spot.
Whoa,
Yeah.
put on the brakes.
Indian River Inlet.
The
isn't
Indian
it?
River Inlet.
Is
it
that
would
near
be.
Deeks?
I believe, yeah. I think you're
You're
up just
like-
north in Lewis.
Yeah, you're
Is that
good
correct?
with beach traffic. You're a good 45 minutes south. of me.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
So,
Gotcha.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming
As the
you-
crow flies, though, what's that?
Seagull. As the seagull.
Seagull
As the
flies?
seagull?
I've
the
made
golf flies.
at midnight. I've made it down there from like door to door. I've made it in less than 30.
What about 3 a.m.?
That too.
You must be lonely.
It's all same day travel. He can't start at 11 p.m.
So I'm assuming like 2 weeks ago you guys went out and bought a tent to
No,
camp because this is the
no.
first we're hearing about camping
No,
trips or camping
yeah,
equipment,
We've
right?
tent camped before, but
It's a long
we've-
time. This is a long time coming. We got to start mining some of his assets.
All right, let's hear it.
We graduated a few years ago. This is probably
Congratulations.
Yeah. It was a nice graduation.
From a tent to
Well, we went from a tent to a travel trailer.
No, you didn't
about
either.
10 years ago. We bought a
bless
used
your
one to
heart.
kind of get our feet wet and see if it
Yeah.
was something that we were going to continue to do. And about 5 years ago, we ended up buying a 32-foot toy
How
hauler.
many of them are you?
32 feet.
Well, now there's 4 of us. My wife, myself, and we have 2 pups. We have a chocolate lab, and we just
Oh, you need 32 feet for
that's
that.
it. Yeah,
and he's hauling their toys.
yeah.
Whoa.
We
Chew
put,
toys.
Put the
That's
motorcycle in the front. We have a front hauler section and a couple fishing rods and some gear and all the accoutrements that you need to beach and fish and
Chef's kitchen.
chef's kitchen.
No fooling.
Yeah. So that's our favorite
You
place.
got AC in that thing?
Yes, we do. There is AC in that thing, or I wouldn't be going down to the beach if there wasn't. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
would
where
hate
you
that.
guys stay? Is it like campground?
It's a campground.
It's like
Yeah, it's part of Delaware Seashore State Park.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
several
sounds-
different
sounds nice.
camping facilities as part of that state park system, and this is one of the ones there. They have at Indian River Inlet. So they, when I was younger, my family and I stayed there for years. I was probably 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and my wife and I have revisited that location, like I said, for the past probably 4 or 5 years now, and it's our favorite place. So we frequent that place 2 or 3 times a year, and I was fortunate enough to catch a few fish on the first day.
Yeah.
The blues were running on the incoming tide, and I was able to hook 5 blue fish within the
Do you listen to
afternoon.
music when you're fishing for blues?
I don't. I don't.
Like Crab Mo. And
Caught 5 fish.
I
Wrote a song
usually,
about
I
it.
usually listen. To,
I like to hear.
I usually listen to my dragses.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I listen to my dragses most of the time. But,
I don't think it'd get
I
any
never
better
heard of
than
that
camping and fishing.
Oh, it's
You know?
well, that
nice.
campground's
It's
like
nice.
right on the water practically.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. They've renovated and added about 200 campsites. They have camping on the south side of the inlet and then camping on the north side of the inlet, which is probably about 3 years old. So we were able to stay on the north side of the inlet, which is right next to the water. So you can, within 100 yards or so, you can be down by the bridge. You can walk out to the jetty. On the north side, there aren't lifeguards, so you're able to bring your pets on the beach, which we do, and then you can surf fish. So it's a
Nice.
pretty nice
Cool.
setup. So I mostly fished the inlet.
So did you fish?
I did. I fished the inlet.
Then what?
And then I fished some more. I didn't.
Would you catch the blues on?
I caught them on bucktail.
Did you?
White bucktail. Yep. That's my my lure of choice. I put a freshwater swim bait on there, and just do some casting
gulp.
and reeling. Actually, I had some yum.
Yum
swim
dingers.
baits, yeah, just some yum swim baits, and it has some
think that's
reaction
a stick
innovation,
bait.
just some
Cool.
whatever white pearl or
Bone colored.
bone colored swim baits.
So back to this camper. You pull that with your Jeep, I assume.
No,
No.
No.
I don't.
You
No,
don't.
that wouldn't pull it. Yeah, so
it wouldn't,
It-
it wouldn't
no.
pull the fifth wheel.
I have a 3/4 ton diesel, Dodge
Oh,
coming.
so is that where the diesel in the pick
Yeah.
diesel comes from?
Yeah.
I was wondering.
It's
Yeah,
all coming together now.
Us older guys, back in the day when Shaquille O'Neal came out of LSU, I was a big
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal
Were you?
fan, and he called himself
Anthony
Sha-
Hardaway.
Yeah,
What?
Penny. He called
Yeah.
himself
Oh, yeah.
Shaq Diesel.
Yeah.
So I kind
Deke,
of
you're probably too young to
I'm
remember.
lost on this conversation.
Take the
It's
whole
basketball.
I think-
B, I was too young.
I think Pick didn't really like him until that movie Shazam came out.
Yeah.
Oh, then he
a
really
lot of
fell
people
off.
had that same issue.
Epiphany.
yeah. So
It wasn't that he was slamming, breaking every backboard in
Yeah.
every town.
No, so that's kind of a given nickname
That's
to
cool.
myself. But so had a great weekend. It was just like last year. The first day was slamming the fish, and the tide, the incoming tide was the time that it brought the bait fish in, and that seemed to be the time when the fishing got hot. But the incoming tide was kind of later in the afternoon, so the incoming tide on the next go around was 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I was only able to pull myself out there during the evening. And there was a few people catching some fish on the rest of the weekend, but it was far and few between, unlike that first day when pretty much every time you turned around, somebody was hooked up with a bluefish. So
How big were they?
This year they weren't as big as what I got into last year. They were anywhere between 20 to, I think my largest one was 24 inches.
That's not a bad size.
So I caught 5, and I made a buddy next to me, one of the guys that was local there, and he caught 1 and had it on the stringer, and I turned to him and said, "Nice talking with you. I'm going to take off." And he said, "I'm leaving too." He said, "You want my fish?" I said, "No, you take it, you take it." He said, "I'm not going to clean one fish." He said, "Take this one with you." So I ended up filleting 6 blues that afternoon.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you do with them?
I put them in some bacon grease, fried them up in the pan with some Charlie Moore's No Offense seasoning, and made myself some fresh fish tacos.
Which seasoning?
I used 2. I had the jerk
blackened?
season. I had the jerk seasoning, and then I did the lemon pepper. I had those 2 seasonings down.
You can't go wrong with the lemon
Yeah.
pepper.
No, never.
Yeah. But I don't know. There are a lot of people that say you eat those things. Bluefish, for whatever reason, they just
A lot of people
don't like them.
The bigger ones, because those were mostly like 15 to 18 inch.
Yeah.
The bigger ones, when they get into the 20 plus, get real oily, so that can be a non-desirable flavor in it. And we were talking earlier today before the podcast. You should talk about how you take care of those, because that helps a lot.
Yeah. Over the last few years, I've tried to touch base with some of the locals there and get some tips on how to prepare them, and why people don't like the bluefish. And after you fillet them, there is a bloodline on the back line on the back side of that fillet, and you make sure that bloodline is cut out of that fillet as soon as possible before you cool them down. And I have no issues at all. If anybody has any bluefish out there that they don't want, send them my way, because I'll eat them up.
So there's a bloodline on the fillet. It's not like along the spine like on a trout.
No, it's inside the fillet. Once you fillet it and flap it open, and then take the skin off, on the skin side, there is probably, depending on the size of the fish, a 3/4 inch to 1 1/4 inch wide substance, a red liver-like material of meat, and you'll fillet that out of there and get them in the cooler right away.
Nice.
And I love them. They taste great. So eat them all day long.
Yeah, definitely good tips for that.
Yep.
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos. Yep. Little salsa, some cheddar cheese.
Did you find anything on that? Did you find anything on that beach that you guys were on? Because that's referred to as Coin Beach, because at one time there's land pirates.
What?
There's a weird story about pirates from that beach. And
Johnny Depp was
and there's a lot of shipwrecks.
Yeah.
Savvy?
Well,
Did you notice a lot of metal detecting, guys?
there was on the north side. It's called Coin Beach, and at the life-saving station that's right up the road.
the light.
Life-saving station. There is a lighthouse there that they call the life-saving station.
Life?
Yeah, it was like one of the original Coast Guards before it was called
an F?
Coast Guard.
Yeah, there's a museum there, and you can take a tour. But the story has it is there.
Someone saved my life tonight.
when the colonies settled from England over here, and of course Delaware is the first state, they didn't have any currency to trade and to buy certain things from each one of the settlers, and so they were trading goods to Old England for some type of currency. And as the story goes, when the boat, I think it was called the Faithful Stewart, came across the ocean, they found out that they were close to land, and they were happy that they made it, and they threw a big party. They got drunk, and they ran aground.
Oops.
And all of those...
Who hasn't heard of that happening?
And all of those barrels of
times.
coins got spilled and strewn
like-
across the beach. So
Once a week at Racetown.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So there are coins still on that beach from
So
old
that's
England.
why it's called Coin Beach.
That's why it's called Coin Beach.
Are
Yep.
they like what do they look like? Can you spend them?
No, they're like nasty old pennies.
I think they're called half cents. I can't remember the
Hey penny?
the king at the time. I
King
can't
George.
remember. King George, King Arthur.
Half.
Yeah. But yeah, so and I've actually gone out a few times with a metal detector and tried to find a few coins, and I have never have. But interesting story. The first time I went out there, as I'm metal detecting, I saw a gentleman and I small talked with him and I said, have you found anything? And he's like, I'm a local. I come down here. I average about 10 to 12 coins a year. So he finds one about once a month. And I said, well, would you mind sharing with me?
So where do you live?
Where to look? Do I look here? Do I look there? And he gave me some tips, and I went on my way, and he went on his way. And
I don't think he was a real dude.
He was a real dude.
Spirit.
Mirage.
Oh.
And as I turned around to come back,
Yeah.
He was gone.
We
Vanished.
crossed paths, and he motioned over to me, and he said, "This is what you're looking for." And I said, "Did you just happen to find that?" And he said, "Yep." He said, "I just found one today." So
He pulled it from behind your ear.
No, he pulled it out of his pocket.
And then as Brian started walking down the beach, he noticed that there was only one set of footprints.
I get it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, so the funny thing, like I went on a ghost tour from that beach.
No.
because there's a lot of other like folklore about.
Deke, the hair on my arm
but
stood
like,
up.
but no, so
You met
there's
the same guy.
probably there's like a story about a lady with a lantern, like that the surf fishermen will see at night, and all of a sudden a
Stop
lantern
it.
just walks into. It's a very long story, so I won't go into it.
I never saw.
We
her.
have time. Let's hear it.
Go on.
But like they'll see a light that just like sort of drifts into the water, and it's
on.
about this individual from back at that time when there was these pirates that would
Arr.
go. They would have, so it's all these sand dunes. They'd have these. The pirates would actually walk with a lantern because it looked like a mooring ship. They'd have a ship come up onto the sand and beach. Then they would pillage that ship that crashed because from a distance at night, that lantern on the sand dunes looked like a mooring ship. So they thought it was deep
was
enough
safe.
that they could be there, and they would hit that. They would row out their smaller boats, pillage everything, come back. And the story goes that she met a love in the town of Lewis, and she thought that her family had pillaged a ship that he was supposed to come back in, and she supposedly killed herself by walking in to the water on that beach.
So now she's running around with a lantern down there?
Yeah, because that was
She
her
thought
job
It
in the
was safe
pirate.
she was mourning.
I don't know, but
her
that's
job
a stretch.
in the pirate group was to stand on the sand dunes with the lantern.
Oh, so she was a pirate.
She was an indentured servant for a pirate family.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Her name was Gloria. Morning Gloria.
Yeah. And every year she leaves a coin.
And Brian tries to find it.
Every year
Have not found the coin. Found a couple fish, no coin.
Well, that dude's advice was terrible. Because he gave it because you never found a coin.
It's just like fishing advice. Somebody tells you to go how to catch
Yeah.
fish, and then you don't catch fish that way. But
There's
that
some
guy has.
coins over there.
That guy comes back with a stringer
Go
full.
300 yards that way.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you have history there. I'm glad you can let us in on the Indian River Inlet, adventures. And I that's just something we don't get. The blue fishing and stuff like that, we don't typically do. So I'm glad
Not a lot of blues in Pennsylvania.
we don't get the blues.
There's a lot of flounder
Yeah.
caught right there in the inlet. And what's the bay back behind there, Delaware Bay?
There's
Indian River Bay.
Indian River Bay, and I think the Rehoboth Bay.
Rehoboth
I don't know
Bay.
if it's
Connect.
one's north or south.
Rehoboth Bay is
There.
north.
Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
IRB.
Yeah.
If you look at everybody's bumpers, they have
Yes.
Yeah, but my wife and I are planning on getting back down there in September. So hopefully I'll hook up on some blues again or any type of fish that wants to bite my lure.
But yeah, the reason that I brought up flounder, though, isn't there there's a flounder tournament, I think, that they do back there.
That's out of Rehoboth Bay,
Okay.
but I think you can fish Indian River Bay too.
So we could probably take your boat down there
Yeah,
and enter in that tournament.
We could take your boat, bud.
so we could just take $1,000 of entry fees and do something else with it.
Burn it.
Yeah, because
You're saying.
the guys that win
So,
this are.
I'm afraid to do it because
are on
Deke will run it aground.
She'll be looking for the lady with the lantern.
Well, so no, but actually, right? So while
He runs up, he guns it. What are you doing?
While
Get
Brian
your
was
shit.
down there, so that was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Somebody put together a video of drone footage of, I think it's Massey's Landing, which is like the in between area from those two bays.
Yeah.
And the channels have been completely like messed up, so there's no channel anymore, and it was nothing but like boat after boat after boat just running aground. And like you see like somebody that's like ran aground and a boat's coming in right behind them full speed and just goes boom, just slams on the brakes, just beaches
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, not very good. Kind of funny from a video standpoint, but if you're one of those boaters, you had a bad day.
Well, if you see someone.
Yeah, that's the other. That was one of the comments on the video. You see somebody in a channel, like right beside a channel marker, who's not moving. Don't you want to take some caution? And these
It's
people
hard to
didn't.
know.
Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, you see the problems at the boat ramp.
I'll tell you one fish I haven't caught
What's
recently was smallmouth.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't caught one?
No. Well, dinks. Small dinks.
So you did
Like
catch.
10,
Dink
11.
life.
Catching.
Yeah, I tell you what, fishing's
doesn't-
been bad this
That
year
was
for
a
me.
terrible lead in to you saying, I've caught a lot of smallmouth.
I haven't caught a lot of smallmouth this year.
Small.
I only catch.
The
I only count a
small-
smallmouth if it's big.
14 inches
Yeah.
or bigger.
Take it easy, Bucky.
No, it's the water's been high and muddy still, and I tell you what, my friend and I, Matt, went out again last weekend, and we caught 11 fish total on a 7-hour float. So it's just we're used to going out and catching, 20 plus each. And some 16, 17, 18 inch. We just haven't been catching the size fish. So hopefully the fishing will pick up, or we're gonna have to do some recon and find a different part of the creek or hit the Potomac.
The water's still cold. It's still high. It's
Yeah, they
Gonna
haven't.
get warmer after this week.
Yeah. So, but we're still gonna get out there and try to find them.
Anybody get on a canoe lately?
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah. So
How about a
Just
new
taking
canoe?
us.
yeah, anybody get a new canoe?
anybody rustle any cattle lately?
No,
Just
Not here.
Looks like you might have.
So I guess you're trying to tee up my
That's
adventures.
how
this
I
past
do it,
weekend.
bud. That's how professional podcasting
Oh, it's a
does.
great lead-in. Good job, bud. So this was the weekend of the 5th annual canoe trip with my high school buddies.
that we're not invited to.
Yeah,
High school buddies,
high school buddies.
I-
So
I get it. bud.
everybody's
You
under
said it.
40.
closed group.
Everybody under 40.
Closed group.
So yeah, these guys, I've two of them I've known since we were 4. Most of them I've known since we were 8, 10 years old type situation.
That's cool.
Really, this is our 6th, but as the group that goes now, this is our 5th year. So in our 5th year going for the West Branch of Susquehanna.
Are they all from around here? They all
all
live
my
around
friends?
here? Yeah.
Originally.
like right now, they all live here.
No.
No.
One flies in
Just
from,
for a week
For a
Yeah,
week.
with tents. We all live in one village.
Yeah.
No.
in the same tent.
No, we all have individual tents.
You could raise a child.
Whatever, dude.
I heard it takes.
Takes
a village.
Takes
yeah,
a village.
definitely. A village of dudes. So
Mustache dudes.
one flies in from Colorado.
No way.
The rest of us live probably within 20 minutes of each other.
He flies in from Colorado. That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Why don't you guys go out to him and try canoe trip?
We've thought about it logistically.
Did you pitch in to get him out here? Is he
He
float-
covers it himself.
Yeah,
floats it all.
Yeah, he floats it all.
Yeah, Deke pitches in.
He normally him and his
I was
wife.
baiting him. I
Yeah.
wanted to see how much Deke does for his high school friends, not us.
Him and his wife normally come into town for normally a 2-week stay.
That's cool.
And overlap it, so he gets to see family afterwards. His brother is also part of the trip.
So this is home.
This is home.
Yeah.
They normally come they're in Colorado, but they normally try to get back twice a year. So this is one of his twice-a-year trips.
That's cool.
But yeah, so we were supposed to be a 4-day trip.
Yeah.
We left on a Thursday, got up to Snowshoe area, Clearfield area,
Yeah.
about 11 o'clock on Wednesday night, and We hung out at one of the guys' cabins. We were all ready to go. Had a truck packed full of one pickup truck with 3 canoes, all of our gear, and 6 dudes.
In one truck?
In one pickup truck.
Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Normally it's
Unless
7 guys.
you said I'm rolling with Pick Diesel,
Yeah.
and then he has this diesel truck, and he's got a 36-foot whatever.
No, this is just a this is a 3/4 ton Chevy with an 8-foot bed and a ladder rack.
Pile it on.
Yeah. But normally it's 7 guys. The 7th man, he had a very bad illness, like a stomach bug. He was that ill, he could not make it. So we were a man down. So normally we float this trip with 3 canoes and 1 kayak. So we were just 3 canoes this year. So we wake up Thursday morning, leave the cabin that we were staying at, go to the river, and it is very high and very fast. And we looked at the river gauge. It's very bad cell phone service up there. We had like one mountain. We could check cell phone service before we get down into the area that the put in is. And so we knew it was going to be high, but we didn't. The area that we normally like shove off was completely flooded from like up to the road. Yeah. And it was moving. So we're like, okay, we need to reevaluate the situation. Last year, and
The
more
trip will just take half the time.
Yeah, true. The first day, though, we had to go through a section that last year a canoe flipped in our group, and we were about 2 foot lower when we floated it.
Last year.
Yeah, through this one set of rapids, they flipped. We were able to get most of the gear and get everything tied back up and camp out. But so this year we had precautions, and we said we'll wait a day. So we went back to the cabin, stayed, hung out, tried to do this again Friday. It rained from like 3 o'clock till like midnight Thursday night. So it didn't help the river gauge. So we did the same thing though Friday morning, checked everything. The river gauge did not move, so we had to make another call.
That's got to be tough to.
It's hard
for a year of thinking about this, and then to have to dial yourself back and say,
So we got it. We got in
out of your control.
Yeah.
So we got on the river Saturday morning. We floated. It was a good trip. We got out Sunday. We had to cut the trip in half pretty much. Luckily, there's a town about halfway point.
There's a town back that way.
So we could. Make a 2-day trip.
So how do you do that? Like on the fly, change your takeout? Do you have a vehicle sitting there
So we had
at the original takeout?
This is a lot of detail. So when we get up there the first night, we drop a truck and trailer, a pickup truck with a trailer at the takeout. So it's there. And then we drive to the cabin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, we drive to the cabin first, then go to the takeout with one truck and whatnot, nuances. But so we automatically we had a truck the whole time staged the takeout, so we had to just adjust our put in spot.
Okay.
To make it work.
So the takeout didn't change. Your put in did when you decided.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
To put on.
Yeah.
All right.
So it went from so normally you're on the river for 4 days.
Yeah, and we always have a camp day just because of this.
Okay.
If it pours all day, it's no fun paddling.
So you're normally
raining.
on the river for 3 days.
Yeah, so we normally paddle 3 days, but we are on the river. We camp on the river.
Yeah.
You pull off, camp for the night.
What'd you see?
A lot of good stuff.
That's the stuff I like to hear about.
Yeah.
I had bacon wrapped fillets.
How do you do that?
Baked potatoes, other steaks.
How many coolers
Did you say you had otter steaks?
Other steaks. Like I had another pack of steaks. Like I had bacon wrapped fillets plus like another pack of steaks.
What?
Bluefin jerky.
We pretty much cooked over even our camp day on Thursday, because we were stuck in a cabin again. We made a nice big fire. We cooked over the fire because we were like Thursday we cooked on the stove and we're like, this is stupid, but it's raining out, so we couldn't have a fire.
Everybody's responsible for a meal, right?
No. We share. We have enough like snacks and overflow, but we pretty much just, because you need to be self-sufficient in your own canoe. I know what you're getting at of like, hey, why doesn't one canoe make a meal each night? And we've thought of that.
Sure.
But if that canoe goes over and happens to lose that meal, nobody eats that night. You know what I mean? We're down one less dinner. The way we do it, we share. Like we'll cook. Like I made 2 steaks Well, I gave like half of the other one away. Like, and we
you're
kind of
It's kind of like a buffet.
yeah. And then you kind of just
where
like,
everyone chips in a little
hey,
bit.
this is the recipe I made. You want to taste some
Try
of it?
this.
And everybody
try that.
tries it.
Okay,
type thing.
I got you.
This year I did change it up, and I made my breakfast was venison sausage, potatoes, and eggs in a cast iron skillet over the fire. Yeah, so that was fun. Mixed it up, but I like made baked potatoes for dinner, and then sliced up the potatoes the next morning
For breakfast.
Yeah, It was good.
Gins have ice.
Yeah, ice and coolers.
It's a long time to keep ice in.
I mean, like that other town, that midtown on our trip.
Yeah.
There's a bar like right up over the hill
Okay.
from the river that you can grab ice and like another 12 pack if you need it.
Map that out.
You got to have necessities in line, man.
Yeah, logistically, that needs to be determined.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, look, you can make it. Like, we did the Juniata 6 years ago,
Yeah.
and we didn't have an ice stop, and we tried like the dry ice situation with like, that gets messy. Hard. It's just logistically hard to do. And like our coolers could all make it, but it's nice to have fresh ice.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody like one year, the one guy he packed shrimp. You don't.
Ooh.
You better eat that the first night.
Ooh.
So, but yeah.
I was a little nervous for you guys up there because I knew what the weather was like, and
Yeah. I mean,
Glad you made it out.
It still rained Saturday. Like we put a tarp over top. Like we tent out the campfire with tarps, and have it all set up that
Really?
we can survive a night of rain and have a fire still going. And then we each have like everybody has their own tents and
Did
everything.
you fish at all?
I did a little bit.
Yeah?
The Friday when we were stuck at cabin all day, I actually went trout fishing. There's a stream that supposedly holds some wild trout. I had two like hit the spinner, but just wasn't able to land them. But so that was pretty cool.
So that's why I would pack the food situation. I'd pack extra light, and I'd be like, if I'm going to eat it, I'll catch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably lose a little bit of weight on the trip.
Yeah, definitely.
You're like Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was a
Y'all
good
were
time.
safe.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Like, luckily, able to watch River Gauge. We probably, like, looking back on it, we could probably have run it at that high rate the first day, but we just wanted to be extra cautious because
Why push it?
that one canoe did have a pretty bad spill last year. So
Did anybody go over this year?
no, nobody went
good.
over. So
That's good.
Yeah, everybody. It was cold water though. Man, it's like 62-degree water temp.
And I know in kayak fishing they have that rule of 120. If the air temperature and the water temperature are below 120, they recommend having a dry suit on in a
Yeah.
kayak.
What, the combination of the two?
The combination of the two. So if your water temperature was 61,
Yeah.
it would have to have been at least 60 degrees to make that 120 or 121 to not necessitate
A dry
or have
suit?
to have a dry suit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a dry suit?
I do not. They're
I
pretty.
never heard that rule before. I like
yeah,
that.
That's a good rule of
120.
thumb.
Yeah. So if the water is 50, but the air temperature is 80, you're still good.
Yeah.
You know. So if the water temperature is 75 and it's still a little chilly out, as long as the combined air and water are over 120, the rule of thumb is you're good.
if you have a 90-degree day in January, you're set.
You're set. You're good.
But yeah, we actually wore check your regs on what life
Yeah,
jacket.
check those regs.
But we wore life jackets more than we ever have, just
Yeah.
because we were worried about if you did
That's
roll
cold.
over, losing your breath on the not necessarily the hypothermia situation. It's that you go over and you lose your breath on that quick spill,
Sure.
and then that's hard to recover from that. So,
Yeah.
anybody else do anything? Saw some fishing pictures.
From me? No.
I thought.
Doesn't
it
sound
Will?
like something I would have done.
Did Will get out? Will didn't
What?
get out.
Thought I saw some bass caught.
We got out again with catfish on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, and
I actually did a little kayak fishing on that trip.
I think I saw a picture of you in a kayak.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I said, no, don't do that. But he's like, William, I would love to be on the kayak.
That's what I said.
Did you?
I said it just like that.
Exact words.
I did. I gave up my spot on the River Cooter so that my son could tag along because Will was going.
He could have, they both.
And I know I could have fit, and that's fine.
Yes.
We've seen and heard the stories about 4 people fishing off of that boat. But for me, I haven't fished from a kayak in a while, and the idea of fishing Lake Mead in a kayak kind of had me going.
There you go.
Especially since I was going to use one of Catfish's really sweet, his feel free lures. I was ready to give it a go, and it did not disappoint. It's so comfortable.
Yeah, you can sit in that seat all day.
Oh my gosh, It was crazy. Missed being on the boat. It's kind of nice standing up and fishing, and you got a little bit better of an angle to work it. I was way more comfortable in the kayak than I am standing on that boat for a couple hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a nice, comfy seat. Oh, and I caught some fish too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's
There
good.
you go. Catfish caught
Oh yeah.
a 7-pound monster.
Yeah, he did.
7 pound.
Wow.
I've been keeping tabs on him. It seems like every time he goes out with one of the group, the number keeps jumping up by a pound.
Really?
He's due. Does anybody know what his personal best is? Has he caught a 9-pound bass?
I honestly don't think he has, but I
don't know.
I
for
don't
sure.
know every fish that he's ever caught. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know
He
that
doesn't
anybody
always.
does.
He doesn't always tell everybody everything, but
To the best of my recollection, he has not. I think it's going to happen this year.
there was one. What was caught? Like there,
A 9 pound. Someone caught a 9
someone
pounder,
caught a
yeah.
9-pounder there.
Yeah.
Out of that lake.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy lives there. Yeah, that was literally caught just after Catfish's 7-pounder.
So the big girls are eating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's stupid too, and I hate to say this, I really do, because it's
Say it, baby.
it's funny. Is we didn't have quite the weekend that we had the previous weekend, but we caught a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Still caught a lot of
We
fish,
caught a ton of fish.
but it wasn't as much as the last one. But when he yanked that big one out, and it took him a while to get it.
He spun that rod over upside down.
Did it jump a few times? Did it jump out of the water and you're like, oh.
Did you know it was a massive
Yeah.
one, or did you
It-
just know it was like a heavy pool?
It actually
was
never.
a heavy pool.
It never came up, did it?
It went under the boat at one point.
No, it never. But it never.
Never
surfaced
It
and
No,
jumped.
never
no.
came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
He wasn't using that Fenwick rod, was he?
Yeah.
He likes
Really?
that one.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Caught it
because he
on the-
made a comment about it.
Wow.
I love this rod.
Wow. That rod took a 7-pounder.
Yeah.
And it took
Holy
I don't even
buckets.
know how big a pike he caught on that thing too.
Yep.
Those
Well,
It
that,
look-
that
it-
rod's built for it. It's just a nice. It's physically a light rod.
Yeah.
I
It
wouldn't-
looks
it's
like
not
a
an-
Barbie fishing rod when he's got a fish like that on
Yeah.
the end of it. It's just
Oh,
curled
yeah.
completely in a U shape.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Were the fish tight up against the bank, or were they
both.
everywhere?
They were everywhere.
Yeah, it was hard to say. That the big one was close to
Was-
a little rock outcropping, and
It was tight. The big one was tight.
Really?
Yeah, but they're all over.
Do you know what he caught it on?
I shouldn't say hula stick, but
Skirted.
we'll wait till he tells everybody. It's going to be up to him, hula stick, to determine whether or not he wants to let everybody know hula
Yeah.
stick what he caught it on.
I've been seeing a lot of jigs.
Hula stick.
I've been
Hopefully
seeing
we
a lot
hear
of
soon.
jigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And then Tuesday night,
Oh,
we did a little bit of crossbreeding.
we did. We
What'd you crossbreed?
2 pods. We created a potty barge.
You did podultery.
We
Committed podultery.
Committed podultery
Yes.
with another podcast.
well, it was my other
Okay.
other podcast.
It was
well,
inbreed.
all right.
I mean, that was his original. We
Yeah.
are the second one.
Yeah.
You guys are my side
We're the
chick.
stepchild.
Yeah, we're the
the stepchildren.
we're the second wife.
But we
He's
we've
a
been
polygamist with pods.
we had been talking on Span the Void about
Podligamist.
Yes.
doing a podcast on the water, and we pulled it off.
Nice.
Cool.
We took the H6, our little travel unit that we run around
Love that
the
H6.
Great American Outdoor Show with, and we took it on the water. And the best part about it was that
They did it first and we didn't.
We call them.
Is that the part that you loved?
That's
No,
been on the
we'll-
water though.
We'll
Not
do it
like
too.
that. Not on a potty barge.
What water were you
I mean,
on?
You're
It's
right.
true.
You're right because we were on the Delaware River. The other.
Yeah, they were on the Delaware. You guys had it out at Soda's
Yeah.
Soda's Point.
Where were you at?
We went to
This is
Pinchot.
on kayaks.
So the best part about it is we call him Adventure Jimmy on the Span the Void podcast.
Right.
And we call him that for good reason. The man loves adventure.
A good adventure.
He loves the idea of adventure.
When you push him into it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Talk to him about going fishing, doing a pod on the water. We called it the cast.
I don't really fish.
That's what he said. He hasn't fished since he was
20 years.
but a youngin'. And but he was excited to do it. I mean, the moniker of Adventure Jimmy didn't disappoint here.
Right.
He was up for it. And he showed up at the house. We had a couple kayaks loaded. We had your mom in tow. She was ready to go. And we took Jim out to Gifford Pinchot State Park. And for those who listen to Span the Void, Jim's son met us out there.
Cool.
Corey came along
Corey
because
Jimson.
Corey Jimson. Corey's been kayak fishing a lot here recently. And he was pretty excited, I think, to see his dad participate.
That's cool.
In this new sport. So
I was like surprised. Jimmy was casting with some accuracy.
Was he?
oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's what, if you don't do
let's
it
get
ever.
into details. What was he casting? And
I tied
He
on
loaded up a double barrel.
what?
He gave him 2 rods and 2 lures, and that's all he had to work with.
Really?
I figured I'd try to keep it simple. I gave him a little Z-Man crawl on the weedless swim jig
bullets.
on the bullets.
Yeah.
Okay. Not on the Ned rig.
No, just on the
Because you
bullets
would have
because
to
it would
have
help.
40 bags of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would help him. It's small enough that maybe even if it isn't a bass, it could be something.
Yeah.
We'll still, take some hits. You can feel some bites.
Yeah.
And it's weedless, so it should come through a lot of that stuff that we
Yeah.
run into in Pinchot a good bit. The other one was rigged up with a paddle tail. The soft plastic steel. It was I think that was a Z-Man also, but it had the VMC fish head jig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing's a killer, just an absolute killer for fish. So he's got soft plastic paddle tail on one, little crawl on the other. It's a perfect combination. He was casting with accuracy, like Will said, and we had a really, really good time. I landed a fish,
Yeah.
and I landed a fish,
Nice.
and
You lost a couple.
and I lost the big one. Actually, I lost a pretty good size one. She came right up. Just traditional Pinchot bass.
yeah.
Jumps out of the water and goes
Spits it out.
Spits it out.
tooey. Pretty sure I heard that sound.
They know how to do it.
Tui.
Yeah.
Every bass I've caught in Lake Mead this year, I think 1 or 2 maybe actually came out of the water. Every fish I catch in Pinchot, every bass
Jumps.
jumps
out.
and
Jump-
spits when they
Jumps and spits.
Anyway, I'm going to jump ahead in the story because we did our podcast
Go
and it was
ahead.
great. We
Listen
had a good
to it,
time.
yeah.
Go check it out. It was fun.
What's the name of your podcast?
Span the Void.
Okay.
And I don't know, we'll probably call this Cast or something like that.
The
But it'll be
Cast.
the most recent one. But I want to jump ahead to the next day. Because the next day, I got a bit of a text message from Adventure Jimmy.
Hey, Ryan.
Well, it was just a photograph. And it
Look
clearly
at this photograph.
it clearly resembled the inside of his pickup truck.
Okay.
And in it were 2 brand new fishing rod combos.
Nice.
The man is, I think, a new addict.
I thought I had an Adventure Jimmy sighting. I went to Bass Pro around lunchtime, and there was a truck very similar to his, just jacked up, aftermarket everything. And I'm like, no way. The day after, he's using his lunch break to is he addicted like this already? And so I called him right away and no, I'm in a meeting, so it wasn't him, but it was a truck that looked very much like his. I thought that was, but
Well,
he managed to,
Yeah. Since
after the meeting, I guess he rolled out.
Probably. But since the photograph of the rods came through, then I had links sent to me for Amazon shopping carts I was supposed to look at.
Yeah.
And
Look at this.
You just send him to scaredfishless.com instead.
Just tonight.
There you go.
Well, right now he's trying to get terminal tackle.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, he doesn't have anything.
a lot of that stuff. He literally, we went from nothing to, he's got enough that guess what he's trying to get now.
A boat.
He's filling up a boat.
Nice.
Because he's sending me pictures of John boats going, what do you think of this one? Is this one going to do? And, I was giving him a couple of suggestions or ideas. He goes, maybe this year I'll just worry about a kayak and I'll get a bigger bass boat next year. And I was like, he's
Perfect.
in.
Yep.
He is in.
It has begun.
I saw a meme on Facebook recently. It was like a father and son walking along the edge of a lake. And it said something to the effect of, Dad, can fishing make you a millionaire? And then the little bubble above the father said, yes, it can, if you're a billionaire. Think that one through.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world, Adventure Jimmy.
Good luck, Adventure Jimmy.
That's a testimony to how much fun fishing can be, and how we need to do our part to get more people involved. Even someone,
Sure.
our age that doesn't fish, that goes once and the next day is buying a boat. So good on you guys for recruiting another soldier.
In all honesty, he didn't catch fish. I
Yeah.
didn't catch a fish,
And still
but
fell
we
in love
still
with it.
had a beautiful night out.
Did Brad catch a fish?
It was no. He hooked,
Attaboy.
yeah, he hooked
Attaboy.
up on one, I think, but it got off as well. But we just had a great night. It was like buddies out. We took
Yeah.
up half the lake with our little armada.
Nice.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Well, as they say in the biz,
Yeah.
I think we did this current justice.
We
Oh, yeah.
sure did, bud.
Hang on the line, Stevie. I'm gonna get your address so I can.
Some no
Send you
offense
some
spices.
fins.
Really? Ooh.
But hey, guys, don't forget, this episode is brought to you in part by Smokin' the Grove Barbecue Festival.
Smoking the Grove.
That's being held July 26th and 27th in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. For more information, head over to smokingthegrove.com.
SmokingTheGrove.com.
Love me them burn ends. Mm-hmm. And it's also brought to you in part by Moses Family Jerky.
Get out of town.
Oh, yeah. Get 15% off your next order by heading over to mfjerky.com. Make sure you use that promo code JerkyPursuits15.
Hey, Deke,
Yeah, bud.
where can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching Rut and River Pursuit. Make sure you check us out on YouTube with Rut and River Pursuit Podcast. Also, download our podcast every Monday and Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.
I heart those radios.
I do.
Make sure you check out our website at rutandriverpursuit.com.
Oh, yeah.
Check us all out individually on Instagram.
Do that. Everybody's doing something.
Everybody's doing something every day of the week. So, boys, until next week, have a good one.
That was Bass-tastic.
It sure
Loved
was.
it. Loved it.
Loved it.
See ya.
Later. You two, like Brian and Steve, did you ever use the artificial bloodworms?
The golf
I never
one?
No,
have.
the fish bites.
Yeah.
They look like a
They're
ribbon.
strips.
Yeah, and you cut the ribbon, and then they
I-
work great for spot and croaker.
Yeah, I think you can get them at Joanne's Fabrics.
I'll keep that in mind
Yeah,
next time.
because when I'm at the beach, I swing right by Joanne Fabrics.
I knew it.
This is what you're looking for. And I said, did you just happen to find that? And he said, yep. He said, I just found one today. So
You pull it from your behind your ear.
No, he pulled it out of his pocket.
And then as Brian started walking down the beach, he noticed that there was only one set of footprints.
I get it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, so funny thing, like I went on a ghost tour from that beach.
No.
because there's a lot of other like folklore about.
Deke, the hair on my arm
but like,
stood up.
but no, so
you met
there's
the same guy.
probably. So I guess you're trying to tee up my
That's
adventures.
how
this
I
past
do it,
weekend.
bud. That's how professional podcasting
Oh, it's a
does.
great lead-in. Good job, bud.